Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So there is one change to the descriptions of Melania's skills, or at least there are a couple of changes. So we're going to go through whether is she better or not. Spoiler alert, yes, she is a lot better than before, and we will take a look at why that is the case. Now before that, this Melania's banner is actually going to drop in about 4 days time. So along with herself, there are also two other characters, but I think Balloon Party is someone else that you might want to consider as well if you're going for Melania. Now let's briefly go through what Balloon Party can do. So she's a 5-star mineral reality type, so she can go all the way to I3, and I3 is where she shines a lot, and it is quite ridiculous as well. Now this is the ultimate. She deals AoE damage. She gains 1 Balloon of Innocence and 1 Party Balloon to all allies, and then she heals a little bit. But what Balloon of Innocence does is it increases your damage taken reduction by 25%, and after the caster is attacked, you recover 20% of your lost HP. So this is very good for your teammates. It protects them and it heals them at the same time. So this is amazing. Now her first skill, Pinata, this is just extra DPS. If you have a balloon on yourself, this attack enjoys extra penetration rate, which I think this skill for the most part is kind of skippable. So I don't really prefer this skill. I really like her second skill, Coughing Weirdo. So at level 1, it just heals everyone by 25% of their lost HP. But at level 3, mass healing at the same time, recovers 40% of your lost HP for all allies, and then you give yourself 2 Party Balloons. And what Party Balloon does is deals Genesis damage to the attacker. So this is like a kind of Thorn's aura or something like that, right? But what Genesis damage does is essentially just true damage. But let's take a look at all her 3 insights. So she starts off with this, which is really quite good. When a round starts, gets 1 Party Balloon, triggers up to 3 times. So every single round, you're going to get this effect over here that reflects true damage to the attackers, right? And her I2 is essentially just increasing the healing that she does by 10%, which is okay. But her I3, the Party Balloon acquired when a round begins, becomes permanent. So she will always have up to, I'm not sure how many stacks of Party Balloon this can be, but now the Party Balloons become permanent, so this is a huge deal. Because what I understand from this is essentially whenever you get hit, you're always going to reflect Genesis damage. And I'm not super sure, does that mean that you're going to reflect up to 300% of Genesis damage just from your Inheritance 1 or your Insight 1? So I'm not super sure how the stacking actually works over here, but it's not quite the same as a layered skill, right? So for layered skill, you will remove 1 layer and it will only take effect 1 time. But this is a stack. So how many stacks does this go up to, right? So that I'm not sure, it's not stated over here. Right, so anyway, that is Balloon Party, and she is actually pretty good. I know a lot of you guys are using her and a lot of you guys are enjoying her as well. But let's take a look at the main character for today's video, which is going to be Melania. And there are some changes, like I said. So in the previous video, I actually talked a lot about her and gave a little bit more about my opinion about how she is good and what her strengths and her weaknesses, right? You can see it over here. You can pause the video for a second just to take a look at it. But let's get back to some of the changes over here. Now, aside from the fact that they changed the names of the skills here from, what was it, Skillful Thief to Thief Master. Now, take a look at her insight once again, right? So after the caster cards and ultimate, gains 1 stack of Fixed Plan. Take note that this is a stack, this is not a layer. So the difference between layers and stacks is for layers, whenever you activate it, right, there must be a trigger point. It's either that you land an extra attack or you receive a hit. That's how you take away from your layer. But as for stacks, if they do not mention that there is a way for you to reduce stacks, it will not reduce. So every time Melania casts her ultimate, she will gain 1 stack of Fixed Plan. And what Fixed Plan does is ultimate power increases by 12%, and it is stackable up to 6 times, and it cannot be dispelled. So there is no way for it to reduce stacks this way. It's kind of similar to how Eternity is with her passive itself, the Blood of Longevity that increases her DPS output. So the thing is, if you cast 6 ultimates, your ultimate power actually increases up to 70 what? What is that? 72%? Your ultimate actually increases its damage by up to 72%, and it cannot be dispelled. But of course, that requires you to cast your ultimate 6 times. But this is also where her I3 comes into play. So I3, after the caster casts an ultimate, she gains 2 stacks of Fixed Plan instead. So she only needs to cast her ultimate 3 times. And every time she casts her ultimate, the next ultimate is going to hit 24% harder. That is insanely powerful, dude. So the thing about her is her entire kit revolves around using her ultimate. She needs to spam her ultimate, which may or may not be a good or bad thing. Now the thing is, if you want to focus a lot onto her and make sure that she's always pushing out a lot of DPS, then you need to back her up with other characters that don't really need to take a lot of turns. Like for example, you can use her with Alien T. Alien T just needs to sit there and absorb attacks. Or you could possibly use her with Pickles, because Pickles also benefit a lot from not taking any turns at all. So it might be a good thing to run her with other characters that don't need to take turns. turns. But if you're using her with other characters that need to take turns, like for example Balloon Party, you have Anandi, you have other buffers and healers like Tooth Fairy in the future as well, then this might be a problem. So the thing is, from what I understand about the game so far, all these characters and all these banners, they are all good in their own way, and you can essentially use any of your favorite characters and beat content. The game is really not that hard, so it really falls down to your preference in how you want to play the game. And if this is something that you enjoy, dealing massive single target damage and just focusing a lot of your ultimates, then this might be the character for you. But for me, as a free-to-play, pure free-to-play player who have not actually summoned just yet, I have about 150 pulls right now, this is probably not my playstyle, so I am actually going to skip this banner. I don't really like to rely too much onto one single character, especially when it's just a DPS character without any kind of sustain or that kind of sort, because I will eventually have to rely on some of my other characters to heal and to do whatever, right? But by doing so, I'm not going to be able to push my ultimate that much, which means I'm not going to be able to benefit from all of these extra effects that the Thief Master actually provides, which is actually quite important. So because I don't want to restrict my gameplay, I am going to skip her for the time being. But anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Reverse 999 content. Now with that said, this has been Derek Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.